Hello, everybody out there in Twitch land.
Hello, hello.
I'm Steakmittens, and this is
Shadorra.
Shadorra.
No, I do my intro, goddammit.
You can see his face now. Isn't that exciting? He bought a camera.
It is.
He bought a camera just for you guys.
I'm such a tryhard.
Just for you people. So you guys better appreciate this.
It's true. That's money I'm never going to get back, so...
No. Never.
Rip that, I guess.
Yeah. So this is going to be the recap, or I guess the preview of REL in REBBL Division 9D and 9E. Going to take a look at those teams. We don't have a whole lot to talk about yet because most of these are going to be fresh teams and stuff, but ideally every Wednesday from here on out we'll be taking a quick weekly recap about what's going on in the divisions, and those of you that are in 9D and 9E get to deal with us talking about them.
It's true, and for a bit of context, Steakmans and I are ex-college coaches that joined REBBL last season and are now in the minors, so we're batting a bit above our weight class. Those mixed metaphors, but regardless.
It's fine.
And we're going to be looking after you guys, being your sport reporter. So.
Yep. So if you don't know us, like you said, play in REBBL right now. I played Blood Bowl 1 on PC back when that was a thing. Like I played in the new Reddit Blood Bowl League for one season, which was a Reddit Blood Bowl League that existed before REBBL was a thing. I did one season of that and then kind of stopped for a long time, and then got back into it with Legendary Edition, as a lot of people have, and I'm a lot more involved now and I'm finding a lot more fun, so I'm probably going to stick around for a lot longer.
Yeah, and likewise, I joined the community pretty recently. When I joined college, I had played something like 3 games, but I, fell in love with how friendly everyone is and how involved the community is, and yeah, since then I've been bumming around.
Yep, so
move this mic closer to my face.
If you don't like our credentials, then too bad. You get to deal with us for Division 9 for D and E, but we're not. I don't think we're terrible, and at least we have some reasonable insights and stuff.
Yeah, and if not, we'd sound funny. I don't know. You can make fun of us.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so this is Division 9D. This is the schedule, and this is the leaderboard. There's nothing yet because nothing's happened yet. So some teams haven't accepted the tickets yet, but we should be able to look at the ones who have at least been invited. So let's see. We can start at the top left with Union United, coached by Quick Draw 7777, Elven Union, TV 1000
yeah, I think
team.
I've seen him around the TBBL actually.
Yeah, I think so too.
So these are gonna be pretty quick, I guess, because rookie teams, not a lot to talk about.
Yeah, but we'll make comments, I guess, and then next week, and the week after, and the week after, etc. Ideally on Wednesdays, we'll have a bit more to talk about. So this Union United, it's a Pro Elf team, TV 1000, 3 rerolls, 2 blitzers, and a catcher. Good. I mean, no thrower to start with, but that's not uncommon in Pro Elf teams. The catchers and the blitzers are kind of your stars.
Yeah, you want to start that development as soon as possible. And
they're expensive because Pro Elf players. Yeah. At least they have relatively cheap linemen compared to other Elf teams, right? They're only $60K.
Yes, yeah, they only have 6 movement, and they're pretty brittle, but they're nice linemen in the regard that they can still do Agi 4 things. So
yeah, well, Agi 4 anything is good, and even if they're brittle and they die, Agi 4 loners are great because Agi 4. Yeti or Yeti, depending on how you want to pronounce that, to conquer, coached by Iron Master, who I've also seen around the Discord a lot. So
yeah, he's around mentoring people all the time.
Fresh Norse, not Fresh Norse team?
No, he's got a 2-1-1 record.
I don't know where that came from or what that was played in.
I mean, it was probably in the Greenhorn.
Oh, that's true. So TV 960, and he actually does have some development because of that, and he's just a runner with this next game. So there's a Yeti with not much, 2 Ulfs with not much, Drax Pavement Pounder, the Berserker, who has gotten a bunch of XP, so that's nice. He's got Mighty Blow and Piling On, which is amazing for a Berserker, so that'll be terrifying to go into. This
dude must have been killing people. Let me see.
He has to have been. That's a lot of SPP on one dude for Jesus. 2 games.
Oh, he's gotten 2 MVPs, which definitely helps. He's scored 2 touchdowns and he's inflicted 1 CAS.
So it's less casualties than expected. But I mean, he's putting Iron Master's clearly just putting development on the players that he cares about first, namely the Berserkers. The runner has picked up dodge, but he's missed next game, unfortunately. And a lineman has picked up tackle, which is
really solid early development.
Probably reasonable. I don't know. Some people might take like wrestle or dirty player or something.
Given his team value, that is a rather disgusting killer to have on the field already.
Yeah, at 960, having a mighty blow piling on, dude.
Jump up guy.
Yeah.
That's he's gonna pound some pavement, so it's pretty good.
There's some reasonably dodgy teams in the division, so the tackle is a good pickup, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you've got tackle for the Lizardmen, the Elven Union, the High Elves, the Goblins, the Lizards. Yeah, actually, tackle is going to do a lot of work in this.
Especially early when not many people have good ways of dealing with it. Sure. The Average Rice Joes, coached by Average Rice. Lizardmen? 980.
They are indeed.
980 Lizardmen. They haven't played yet, so they're totally fresh.
Super standard Lizard start, all the Saurus, the Crocs, 4 Skinks, 2 rerolls. Not a lot to talk about there.
No, I don't.
Lizards are quite strong when they start.
Two rerolls is always scary, especially when you don't have any like inherent reroll skills. But with Lizardmen, you have to buy all the Saurus.
Yeah, I mean you're still definitely weak to rolling those 1 in 9s early on. You really look to pick up the 3rd reroll after you get an Apo, but you can muddle through thanks to your high strength, and you don't always need to be throwing strength blocks that are unnecessary, or at least dangerous ones, because Lizardmen really want to control the pitch anyway. So
Lizardmen are another one of those teams like Nurgle, where you have like one viable team build, and it's just because you need the players and you need them to start developing. Like the Saurus need development, so you got to buy them all, and then you fill in the rest with Skinks, and oh look, you have enough for 2 rerolls. There's your team built, problem solved. Moving on.
Yeah, exactly. It's not quite undead levels of built it and it's done, but it's pretty good.
Armor Furnace, coached by SSLO, is a 1000 TV Chaos team. So this is like, I guess there are more than one build for Chaos, but this is the only one that people take, like, because nobody takes Minotaurs for any reason.
I take the Minotaur in the Chaos Cup, but
I mean, that's the Chaos Cup. That's different.
Cup.
4 Chaos Warriors, and the rest Beastmen. Chaos. 3 rerolls, no Apo.
Super standard.
I'll probably pick up an Apo hopefully after his first game, if he gets at least 50k. And then, initially it'll be not amazing. Beastmen are not terrible as a lineman. But, Chaos initially won't be amazing, and after a couple levels, it'll start to be looking pretty good.
Yep, they're not as bad as Nurgle, but still pretty slow to start.
They don't have rotters.
Next, we have the Cheeky Elves by Gypsy Prince. Another high, or no, this is High Elves rather than that.
Yep. Once again, no games played, and slightly. This is a High Elf start I've seen. Some people will take more rerolls rather than like 2 throwers. But he's got 2 blitzers, which is the most you can have on High Elves, and 2 throwers. Most people won't start with the catcher, because all that really matters with the catcher is that he has catch, and they already have that. 2 throwers is different. It's not uncommon, like you see it occasionally. Some people like to take 3 rerolls instead of the 2 throwers. It's easier to take positionals with High Elves because of the higher armor. Everybody's armor 8, so people aren't as likely to die as the other elf teams. So having 2 throwers or the catcher early or whatever doesn't really make that much of a difference because they're pretty likely to survive longer and actually get the development. Mostly typical elf names.
Yeah, exactly. Except for Polly the Pusher.
Well, he named the positionals, it looks like. And then
no fun themes yet, at least.
And then just left all the linemen as default elf names, which are annoying and hard to pronounce.
Not gonna bother. But next we have a Goblin.
Goblins! Team. Here goes nothing. I like the team
because
name already.
Some people like to have fun. They also have the best uniforms because
the bright
they are
yellow
violent
ones.
and hurt my eyes.
Coached by Adamex. He's played 2 games, 1 win, 1 draw.
He's got the Looney, the Fanatic, the Bombardier,
No Pogoer. So you can, the Pogoer costs the same. Or no, the Pogoer is a bit more expensive, but you can afford all of the secret weapons, both trolls and enough goblins and rerolls from the start if you want. Some people just don't bother with the Pogoer because he's not really that amazing. You can't throw him either, which is important with goblins.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him. Unfortunately, he's already got a niggled troll, which is
That's rough.
pretty rough.
He's got a bunch of
89.
money though. You could replace him if he wants to, or pick up an Apo.
Yep.
He's likely to do something, I would imagine, with this.
Yeah, I mean, a niggled troll, you should definitely get rid of it. It's going to be a liability until you do. But I could see him maybe waiting a bit and picking up the apple first. But, I mean, he can do both right now, so
Yeah.
I would probably do that.
Yeah, he might also just want bank for bribes and stuff.
Yep.
Goblins are weird. There's so many different viable starting builds for them, and they're basically all like, which secret weapons do you want? Because some people will take none, some people will take all of them, some people will take just the bombardier, some people will take just the fanatic, because or some people take just the loony. Sorry, because the fanatic is kind of inconsistent sometimes. But yeah, he'll likely, like, at least what I would probably do is fire the troll and get an Apo. But we'll see what he actually does. He doesn't need to.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking forward to see how this team develops. Goblins are always fun, if not the most viable things in the world.
It's so hard to get SPP
Yep.
on the secret weapons though.
Yeah.
But if you can get stuff, it's great. Like, plus movement on a fanatic is my favorite skill in the game for any player ever, because then he can just make an extra move, like an extra ball and chain block. It's so good.
Yeah, Mighty Blow and Block are also pretty good. If
No,
you up.
well, the block doesn't matter. Unless somebody's hitting you, I guess.
No, I mean, it matters when you're blocking.
You don't block though. You just chain into them and they fall over.
Yeah, but it rolls a block dice.
True.
So it does matter.
No, movement is better.
Movement is the only thing that matters because you get to have more fun.
Yeah. And that's what
next up, we
goblins are
have Leozar, which is a coach who actually tried to join the college league, but was a little too experienced, so we threw him in the deep end a bit. Also has the super standard lizard build. Nothing much to say there. Hasn't played any games. I know that his Croc Cigar, Red Rock, has already been bountied by his mentors. Stubings, is it? Stubings, yes.
That's great. That's really
He
good.
was like, welcome to REBBL. I'm bountying your Croc Cigar.
Wasn't he he was going to play in the minors instead of in college, but we had 21 people in minors, so he volunteered to just move up to REBBL instead?
No.
No,
You're
was that
thinking
somebody
of
else?
you're thinking of Lorcan Torkin.
Oh, yes, yeah. Sorry.
No,
Elves.
Stubings is the old REBBL champion, and Leozar was the one who's like, I started playing 2 months ago and have since then played like 100 games. So we were like, that's a lot.
It's a lot for college, I think.
I would be surprised if he was the only bountied player. Normally they have a bit
there's
more
a
of story
ton.
attached to them.
There's
Yeah,
like,
but I mean below, what he's saying is in the bottom half of the 9 divisions, I think.
oh yeah. No, but the guy who put up the bounty sheets made like 30 bounties himself and was like, here you go, have fun.
It's a good excuse to donate money to REBBL, I suppose.
Basically, or give away like other Steam games that you're never going to use or have extra codes for or whatever.
Exactly.
Buff Get Bills, coached by Half Baked Orc team. We've got no games yet, so totally fresh. 3 rerolls, 4 blitzers, 4 black orcs, and a thrower. This is orcs. The only thing that's different, basically, is the thrower. Not everybody takes the thrower. Some people do, some people don't. The only reason to take him really is sure hands initially, because the thrower is garbage. Right? He's armor 8 and movement 5. He's like the worst orc piece that there is. But he starts with sure hands. That's like the only reason why he's reasonable. A lot of people will just take an extra lineman instead, and have a little bit more money towards the first Apo, and just ball carry on blitzers, because movement 6, armor 9, and block is way better. And then just give a blitzer sure hands to make them like your ball carrier or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty common.
But the thrower has sure hands initially, right? So one school of thought is to take the thrower and use him until you can level up a blitzer, basically, and then fire the thrower.
Send him off to the glue factory.
Yeah, the thrower is not an amazing piece, but he has sure hands early, which is basically what he's for.
Hey, I mean, when you're an orc starting out, you kind of need those rerolls for those risky black orc blocks. So
try to do stuff with blitzers to the best of your ability, but you do want the development on the black orcs. And,
yeah, I mean, like blitzers are going to level up on their own.
It also
orc
depends
blitzers
on
are incredibly powerful.
You need to. It depends on what the teams in your division are like too, right? If you know who you're going up against and you know they have strip ball, or will get strip ball early, like someone like Wood Elves or whatever, then the thrower can be super good until you get it somewhere else. But like the thrower is not a player that sticks around, right? Like he's bad and he's hard to make good.
Unless you roll like 10,000 plus Agis and then get him put into the Superstar League.
It's true, but the plus, like the throwing game is never going to work with orcs. Like it's hard to do because you're not really very speedy. But like I said, sure hands early is basically why he's good initially. So it looks like Half Baked has gone that way, and that's the way that I went with my recent orc team too. Like it's not bad, it's not wrong in any way. It's just one of two ways to do initial orcs, I think.
Yep. And the next we've got Foul Targets by Jeff7733.
They are foul targets because they're Wood Elves.
Pretty straightforward naming convention.
They're all named Target, and the team is Foul Targets. That's good. I like that.
He understands how this is going to end for him if he hits the floor.
And they are all targets because he has no Tree Man.
It's true. He doesn't have a wall to stop things. This is a pretty standard starting build. You get the 2 reroll double War Dancer start with a catcher.
Yep.
It's really nice. You can do Elven bullshit right from the get-go.
Because War Dancers are nonsense.
And the catchers, man. Don't... Wood Elf catchers are also pretty filthy.
War Dancer's like the best player out of the box, though. They start with Blodge and Leap and Agi 4. I mean, they're also 120k and armor 7, but like that's a really expensive, fragile piece. But even if you have to replace them, a rookie War Dancer is probably one of the best rookie players in the game.
Yeah, probably. Right out of the box, they're never a liability.
Yeah. So and that way you get levels on them and you can build them the way you want. The only other build that people sometimes take is a tree, but you don't need it at all.
Yeah, and I mean, it's good that they're good players right out of the box, and their linemen are so solid because God knows what elf teams don't last very long before they pop. So.
Yeah, it's the same with the pro elves. In that Agi 4 loners are still Agi 4, so they're fairly reliable to like pick up the ball and dodge away and that kind of stuff. So even if your linemen die, you have loners. That's fine.
For a second, I was like, "Why the hell's Gerber in this league?" And then
they're admin teams.
The admin team with 1 ogre.
Downside is they're expensive, right? 70k lineman is kind of bad, but that's Wood Elves. And some people, like I said, will take the tree just basically to prevent people from hitting Wood Elves. It's like the tree is a target to punch so that you don't get to punch the elves, but you don't need it. And because rookie, like you can, as we saw with Squiggy this year, you can totally play a Wood Elf team at really high levels with 2 players and a bunch of loners.
Yep.
Filler Gerber admin squad is just a filler team while we wait for people to accept tickets. Poor admin squad Mark 14 is also an admin squad. Royal
the rest
they
all are. So I'm going to look for the invited tickets. Hold on.
That doesn't add up though, because that's 5 admin teams and there's only 3 extra uninvited people or invited people.
Well, this is what we got to work with. So let's look at these 3 remaining teams and see what's going on from there. So we've got Vindictive Valkyr. He's played 1 game and it was a draw. He is an Amazon team.
Coached by Tinethor.
Yes. He's got a miss next game blitzer. Is it just a miss next game? Yeah, it is.
Which is annoying. Amazon blitzers are good. And especially with Amazons, you kind of rely on your early game or being amazing, right? 4 blodge pieces to start with, a bunch of dodge players that are really easy to get blodge on initially. They're like,
and then they cost less than the blitzers do. If you get block online women, they are more efficient than blitzers. But early on, that blodge is incredibly powerful. These teams, just
that's their whole
bully
shtick.
everyone else. Yeah,
Right, is blodge early. One of the most powerful teams at low TVs, similar to like dwarves and stuff, because they
yeah,
just
and there are
have all
no
those blodge
there are
stuff.
no dwarves in the league, so
Have no tackle really to punish the Amazons, so they'll
in the
likely
division,
do
I
well
should
for
say.
the first couple of matches. Oh, it looks like there was a dead line woman too though, because this is Cruel Kathy the Second.
Yeah, that and so for the next game, they're going to be a little down. They've got 4 rerolls, which is quite a bit, especially on Amazons who don't really struggle for the dodge rerolls at least. Got the Apo, so that's good because they're AV7. They tend to implode anytime someone can roll a POW, so you want to keep that around. Not a lot else to say, so we'll move on to Redeemed Dark Elves, coached by Moya, which has 2 draws. And
Guess what they have?
An assassin.
Yeah, assassins. Shadowing is the best skill in the game, as we found out recently.
Ornan has taught us the magic of shadowing.
Shadowing
and stab.
The 4 blitzer, no witch elf, 2 rerolls, but there's a runner and an assassin. Runner is missed next game, so he's played 2 draws, I guess. Not everybody takes a runner in Dark Elves. It's similar to orcs.
It's a hotly contested thing.
You can play it in different styles, right? You can play it with the blitzers carrying the ball, or you can kind of do the loose cage sort of thing where you abuse dump off. So it looks like that's what's going on. Because they're just they're less armored, less skilled blitzers, but the dump off is a thing.
Yeah, and it's another movement 7 piece, which is quite useful. Dark Elves are a bit slower than other elf teams, so.
But it's like it's not really any different to carry it on a blitzer than it is to carry it on a runner. Like other than the blitzers have more armor and block, which is kind of better.
Just makes them better.
but the dump off is a valid way of playing the Dark Elves for sure. Like you kind of make a loose cage rather than like a hard cage, and then just kind of huck the ball off to all your other Agi 4 players whenever he gets threatened, which is totally reasonable. And it looks like that's what Moya is doing. I love the assassin. Not very many people take assassins because most people don't think they're very good, but I don't care.
It's because they're not.
I play for the memes.
You play for your memes. You never let them be dreams. I understand.
Yeah.
And last we have the Emerald City Ospreys, coached by Killer McGee, who has played no games and who is playing
another pro elf team. Yep. This time
so many elves. This is like the elfiest division I have ever seen.
So much elf ball, which will be like the elves will like that because they don't have to deal with all the bashy teams.
And that one player with tackle is going to have a good time.
Got an Apo, 2 catchers, 2 blitzers, and a thrower. He has a thrower, unlike the other pro elf team we saw. So he's got all his positionals hopefully to develop early, because they're reasonable out of the box. But with pro elves, you want like the catchers have nerves of steel, but you want to kind of get that on the thrower. If you can get Agi 5 or something, or some dodge on the catchers, you can really do supreme elven nonsense, and that's what they're good at because their linemen are just going to die. That's what they're there for. They're cheap enough to replace. And the blitzers are really good pieces. And they're less likely to die because of block sidestep, but you want to get them blodge. And they can be super annoying.
They're a very scary team if they don't go splat on the ground.
Yep. We can take a look at the schedule if we want. There's not a whole lot to talk about. First 3 matches that are scheduled or 4 matches that we have scheduled are from the admin concede squads, right? Bombay week is a admin concede squad, right? Yeah, it is. So we'll have Union United versus Here Goes Nothing, which is the Elven Union and the Goblins. Like, that'd be a good match to watch. I'd like to see the Goblins play the fresh Elven Union team.
Yeah, maybe we can convince them to play on the weekend and we can cast that for the lulz.
You can always cast the replays too after it's done. If
true.
we have time to get together, we can go over some matches quickly. That'd be fun. I don't know who I'd give that to. Probably pro elves because goblins are inconsistent, but it could be hilarious if chainsaw works well. The bombardier is going to be difficult to do anything with because of all the agi elves.
Yeah, and even if you could get it, there's some things you can do. Like if you throw it at a player who's knocked down, they don't get to try to catch it, so you can make it automatically explode. But elves don't usually group up tight enough to get a lot of bombardier value.
Well, and they'll likely catch it and hurl it back at you. And
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you throw it at someone who's on the ground, they don't get to catch it. It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
explodes. So
But getting them on the ground is harder when they're just going to leave
hard
and
as
outrun you.
goblins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah,
gonna
we'll
leave.
see. That's going to be really interesting.
Next one is going to be Iron Master and Gypsy Prince with Cheeky Elves and Yeti to Conquer, or Yeti to Conquer.
Yeah, the cheeky elves were the
High Elves.
yes, high elves, early high elves versus fairly developed
Yeah, the
Norse. I'd give that to the Norse most
probably
days.
the Blitzer is going to do work, and he does have the one tackle lineman for any like super crucial blocks. Not that I don't think he has any.
No, I mean
dodge
he's
anywhere
rookie
yet. No,
high elf.
Oh
so he
yeah,
doesn't have-
rookie high elf, so it doesn't matter.
No,
So
no dodge.
a lot of block, and the one nice piece I think if we'll probably get some work done on the cheeky elves. But you know, elves are elves. They have agi 4. You never know if they could get some quick scores, and then it might be hard for the Norse to come back.
Yep, and then we have Lizard versus Chaos. Early on, Chaos tend to play like a control team. Lizard are also a control team, but they're better than Chaos, at least at 1000 TV.
Yep.
So I would give that to Lizard all day, day.
Yeah, they're going to get outstrengthed pretty hard by the Saurus, and they don't have any like ball handling skills yet. It's a little bit easier for Chaos than it would be for like Nurgle, just because of so many more Beastmen, and they all blitz at strength 4. So you have 5 strength 4 blocks a turn against 6 strength 4 Saurus.
Yeah, but there's also the Croc Cigar is the problem.
Yeah.
Like they don't really have a good way of dealing with the Croc Cigar.
No, it's closer than some other teams, but like I would probably give that to Lizards as well.
Yep, and for the rest, we'll have to wait until people actually accept their tickets.
Yep.
Shame.
Ding ding. Division 9E.
Yeah, we'll move on.
This has 10 of 14 registered teams.
My God, the overachievers. I'm so bad at
Perfect.
flipping through these divisions efficiently.
It's just left from where you get started.
I know. I just can't read because I'm drinking too much beer.
I haven't had any. I probably should. No, it's too late now.
Clearly. We gotta
okay.
keep this interesting.
Are you in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have Archangels Will, coached by Archangel 7. Another Wood Elf team. Not fresh, 2 losses, 1 win, 1 draw. And there's exactly what we were talking about with the Orcs. Teams like Wood Elves are likely to get strip ball really early, and that's why Sure Hands is good early until you can get it on someone else. And then
Also, Wood Elves are likely to implode early, hence why there is a death in the next game.
Yep. But Driz Doerden.
Oh, yeah, these Forgotten Realms characters.
Yeah, Durzo.
Or at least Driz Doerden is.
Durzo is probably Durzo Blint from the... Oh, I can't remember the name of the trilogy
Let's
now.
not get caught up too much in that.
Fair enough.
He's got a guard lineman, which is a double. It's really nice.
Yeah,
Wood
that's
Elves really
amazing.
benefit from having a handful of guard pieces once they're really developed. So having it this early makes cage diving even better if you can somehow get that guard piece in there, or just for making blocks in general.
Mobile guard is the big thing, right? Movement 7, agi 4. You can dodge it anywhere. You can move it to anywhere. You can basically make almost any block you want, an assisted one. And that's super good with cage diving and stuff. You kind of have to put him in harm's way unless you're really careful with it. But block on Wood Elves or guard on Wood Elves, sorry, is amazing.
The Archangels in chat and confirms it is the Night Angel trilogy.
That's the trilogy I was looking for. I knew I was like Way of Shadows, Cloak of Shadows, whatever. But those are the names of the books, not the
Isn't
trilogy.
that by
Brent Weeks?
Brent or Brant? Yeah.
I really like those books.
We all know vaguely what we're talking about.
I really like those books, and his other series, the one about magic and colors and stuff, is really good. The Blinding Knife ones.
Yep. So it's really good that he got the early levels in the War Dancer. Of course, he's close to a level on the Catcher. Good looking team despite the kind of rough start it looks like they had in the Greenhorn.
Bountying the strip ball War Dancer might be a good idea. The Chew Toys, coached by Abnormal 43, Necromantic team. It's Necro. It's fresh Necro. So it's 2 Flesh Golems, 2 Werewolves, 2 Whites, and some zombies. They didn't pick up a ghoul early. Sometimes people do, sometimes people don't.
Yeah, some people like to do the 2 werewolf start.
I love the names though: Bark, Bork, Wide Boy, and Swole.
Bone Diddley is also an excellent name.
I like
for
Not a Zombie, the Zombie, and Corpso.
We're easily amused.
Sure
Some people ditch the werewolf for some ghouls. Werewolves early on, especially, can be a bit of a liability. Claw and Frenzy by itself
can get you into
while
trouble sometimes.
useful, can also get you in trouble. Yeah, like you were
It
saying.
depends on what the teams in your division are, right? If you have a lot of high armor or whatever, the claw can be good.
Yeah, and I mean, early on, you can even run the ball with the werewolves. I mean, they're movement 8 for God's sake.
Agi 3 is good enough for picking up the ball and running.
Yeah, and later on you transition to running it with the ghouls usually.
You can also do like weird handout, like you can like quote one turn, not really from like the line, but you can do things where you like pick up the ball with a ghoul and then hand it off to the werewolf, and then the werewolf runs 8 squares, and you can score from like the middle of the pitch. I've had it happen to me. It's really annoying. Desnot Nakas, coached by Hogstench. TV 1000 Orc team. No games. He has done basically this is the build that I went initially on my Orc team, where you take 4 blitzers, 4 black orcs, get all your positionals, as much strength as you can, as much block as you can, the pieces that need to start leveling. 1 thrower for the early sure hands, especially good against the early strip ball from Wood Elves, and then fill in with linemen. First thing he'll probably do is pick up an Apo if he gets enough money.
He doesn't have 3 linemen for the line, which means he's putting a black orc on the line, which isn't ideal. But I guess with this start, you have to do that. So unless you dropped a reroll
on defense, you can put a black orc there, or and on offense, you can just put 3. And then
it's not likely to bite you in the ass this early. Armor 9 is a thing, but it is a little scary.
And this is the orc. This is the starting orc team that I go with. It's just because I like to have sure hands early.
I like ditching the thrower because I hate them.
No, they're bad, but they're good early when you need sure hands, and other teams have like strip ball or whatever. You don't have any leveling on anybody.
Yeah, for sure. Then we have our first Skaven team. It's also fresh.
1 cheese by Rex Longbone.
Geez, he has started with all 4 gutter runners.
Yep, and thrower, 2 Stormvermin, no Rat Ogre. Pretty normal. I mean, well, it's not like the only time you take the Rat Ogre is at the start. Some people like hate on Rat Ogres forever. Some people say that they're reasonable at the start, and then eventually you fire them once you're like Stormvermin and Gutter Runners get a bit of development.
Yeah, but then they hog SPP because otherwise, you're doing things with him, and like I don't know.
It's basically the same reason as having a Treeman, right? Like he's there to stop your Stormvermin and Gutter Runners from getting hit too much early on until they get stuff like Blodge.
Yeah, but the Treeman is AV10, the Rat Ogre is AV8.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if he dies, right? He's there to be for your first like 5 games and to protect you a little bit, and then you fire him anyway. Like that's the only reason why people use one. Like there's no point in buying one later. Either you start with it and then you fire it, or you don't. And it looks like he didn't start with it, and that's totally fine. Like it's probably more common than not to not start with it.
Then we have more elves, also fresh. Elven Union again. A lot of Elven Union. I'm very surprised.
Well, fresh elf teams are probably more common than Division 1 elf teams where all the scary bash teams live.
Yeah, Jesus.
They're less likely to be alive. Same as we saw before. 2 rerolls, Apo, thrower, 2 blitzers, 2 catchers. Get the development going. Eventually they'll pick up a second thrower probably, so that they have 2 in case one dies. It's basically all it is.
Yeah, they started with the Apo for the expensive players. Yep, super standard stuff.
Yep, the most pro elves will pick up a second thrower eventually. Like you can't really start with all the positionals, and that's almost entirely because one of them is likely to get hurt during the game, so that way you have another person who can throw. And so he'll probably look at picking up one of those at this next 70k, I would imagine.
Yeah, and then we have another Wood Elf team. Also fresh, same double War Dancer, catcher, 2 reroll start.
Yep, no treatment. Order your players, people. Come on. Look at this. Lineman, lineman, lineman. War dancer, lineman. Catcher, war dancer, lineman. What kind of ordering is this? Like, CR boys, step it up, man. This is
What fresh hell is this?
This is ugly, and I don't approve. Order your players. Order them.
All right, simmer down. And then we have another lizard team. Hey, look, it's a Croc Cigar. It's 6 Saurus. It's 4 Skates.
And
rerolls. I mean, there's only one really viable lizard build. I don't know what I expected.
Vulpes and Culta. See him around the Discord.
Yeah, I've seen him around as well. Not much else to say. Lizards are a really solid team early on. We've got mixed
Kaiser.
The first human team I've seen.
Gods of Metal. There was a Gods of Metal.
There was a Lords of Metal.
Oh, Lords of Metal.
America's Division C of our college.
And that was a Chaos Dwarf team. This is the Gods of Metal, and they're all named after famous metal musicians: James Hetfield, Ronnie James Dio, Bruce Dickinson, Lemmy.
I wouldn't know, but
really, like James Hetfield, Ronnie James.
Yeah,
Dio,
I mean, sure, some of them. Yeah.
Dave Mustaine, Alice Cooper. Come on.
Sure.
Humans: 4 blitzers, 2 catchers, a thrower, and an ogre. Humans. There's like a couple of reasonable ways you can start humans. Some people don't use the ogre. Some people will take 2 throwers and only 1 catcher. Basically just because the catcher is squishy, right? Like strength 2. They're slightly better in Blood Bowl 2 than they are in like tabletop because they're armor 8 in Blood Bowl 2 and they're armor 7 in tabletop. Yeah, so they're better in Blood Bowl 2, so it's more likely to see 2 of them in a Blood Bowl 2 game. And the reason why they're great here basically is movement 8. Not everybody will do the throw catch game with humans because Agi 3 makes it a bit more inconsistent. But you can build the catchers as like utility support pieces with guard and block and stuff, so that they become blodge guard movement 8 and they can kind of get anywhere and support your blitzers when they do their blitzing. So that's one good way of developing them. I normally like 2 throwers. I kind of like to build one for not to start with, I guess, but eventually I like to build one for actual throwing and one for like just running the ball, like you pick up block and stuff.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of experience with humans, but that's what I've seen around. It's pretty sensible. Next we have a My Little Pony themed team. Friendship is Massacre. We're playing in the 80 English Chaos Invitational, and Cake and Grad's team is Friendship is Dar because they're a Dark Elf team. Always a good time.
Although
so
these are at least
in all pink.
These are slightly like punny names. It's better than just naming them after ponies.
I do like Painbow Dash and Twilight Slaughter.
I like Applejack Hammer.
Flare Shy. Yeah, these are all pretty good. Captain Bubsby, seal of approval.
Yeah, I like the effort. I appreciate a pun name.
Unfortunately, your players are again not ordered properly. So
it's better than before, but it's still not good. This ghoul is wrong.
Yeah, minus 50 points to Gryffindor.
Pretty normal undead team. Both mummies, both whites. 2 ghouls, 1 skeleton for fouling, and then zombies for line meat. Not everybody takes the skeleton. I mean, they're the same price as the zombie, and they're less kind of consistent because they're armor 7 instead of armor 8. But they're movement 5 over the movement 4, what makes them good. You can use them as slightly more mobile piece for fouling.
Yeah, and an undead right out of the box. They're the perfect team. They've got all their positionals. They've got all their rerolls. Everything they need to be a great team. So they're.
That's morally the pony team is morally.
Yeah, I noticed.
I didn't because I'm bad at this.
I multitask. So yeah, they're really scary at 1000 TV. Less so against all these fast coaches, I guess. But I mean, even then, you can beat them up a bit with the whites. You've got
mummies are super good bully them early.
Yeah, I mean, all that mighty blow.
Strength 5 mighty blow with no nega trait is really good. Undead are that like those. That's those first 4 players. The whites and the mummies are how undead do well early. So hopefully that'll go well for you. We'll see what your matchups are in a bit, I guess.
And then the last of the people who actually bothered to accept their tickets is a Camry team. Ben's
Yep.
been having a lot of fun with Camry lately.
I like Camry. Just my Camry team is cursed.
Camry doesn't like you.
No, this game should be okay. Rain, great. This-
He went for the no throw raw start,
Yep,
which
that's what I
isn't
do.
uncommon. You can carry on a blitz raw. I
It's
mean, you're picking up on agi too, so it's sad, but you can get it
Yep.
eventually.
Well, it's basically the throw raws are also edgy too. They just have sure hands, so you're
It's just a
using
free reroll,
you're using
yeah.
the team reroll instead of a free reroll to pick it up, and you'll probably get this is the way you can start with the most like strength and blocking ability, which is what Camry are good at. It's not the most movement because you don't have the throw raws, but to get a throw raw you have to drop something, and you need to keep the Tomb Guardians. You need to have all four of them initially. Like that's the only way to play Camry because they have to get development. They have to have those MVP chances.
Yep, no, it makes a lot of sense.
You can drop a team reroll to make it a blitz raw or to make it a throw raw instead, but then you've just traded a team reroll for an inherent reroll. So I like the flexibility of the team reroll better.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And once you pick up the throw raw, it'll hog 100% of your touchdown MVP or your touchdown XP. So if you can get a couple touchdowns on the blitz raws in your first game or two to like get their development started, that's helpful because once you get the throw raw, no one else is getting a touchdown really.
Yeah, for sure. Someone was asking the advice channel today about like should they take plus agi on a throw raw? I was like,
Yes. Take plus agi on literally anybody you can get it on, and then that
All
person
day,
is your
every
new
day.
ball carrier. I don't care. Like if it's a Tomb Guardian, they get plus agi. No, it's dumb. Don't do that. But on
No, you take it, and then you take the second plus agility, and then you have a superstar agi 3 Tomb Guardian.
But like I took agi on a skeleton, and he was my ball carrier for a while. I didn't even buy a throw raw. I have one now though. The invited teams, we have the Nagaron Punchers, which is a Dark Elf team that hasn't been made yet. So I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, it's a little unconventional not fielding
Any
a
players
squad.
at all, but I guess it's a viable strategy. I'm not going to tell you how to play your team, Squid 5, but you might want to buy players if you want to do well.
Yeah, and like have a theme. Don't be lazy. I believe in you.
Yeah.
The Chaos Corp by Chilipot is a chaos team with a Minotaur.
Yeah, Minotaur. I like it.
Spicy.
And his players are in the right order, so you've made points for me, Chili
I mean, you lose 100 points for not having accepted your ticket yet.
Yeah,
but,
that's true. But plus like 5 for the Minotaur.
I haven't seen a death roller yet, so I'm not actually that enthused about anything.
Yeah, chaos. You dropped a chaos warrior to get a Minotaur, basically. A little bit of extra strength. Sort of you get the mighty blow and frenzy to like maybe get a few extra kills at the start, but Minotaurs
Minotaur can be very frustrating.
yeah, wild animal is kind of rough sometimes. It's not the best nega trait. I mean, none of the nega traits are good, but wild animal, you're committing to kind of blitzing or blocking with them every turn, and then if you fail a loner, it's kind of rough. But it's a little bit of extra strength early on, and they have mutation access, which is pretty good because you can get like the claw, or you can get the tentacles if you want to have your tentacle like Beast of Nurgle player or whatever. We will do the college league at some point, probably not tonight because it'll take a long time. But Friday or this weekend.
Once the divisions have all accepted their tickets and the schedules have been made, we'll do a really quick overview. There are 70 college coaches, so it would take us hours at this pace.
But
we'll blast through them real quick and talk about things. We'll do kind of more serious recaps as we get into the season a bit more, but we'll do some.
We want to wait until the college coaches actually accept their tickets and the divisions are made and stuff. The reason why we can do this one now is because we have like admin squads filling in while we wait. The college does not have that right now, so we can't really do a review because I can't see the teams that are in it. And we have Bloodstain by Gaetarius. This is, so like I said, the goblin builds. It's 2 trolls, and then decide how many secret weapons you want, and then fill in the rest with goblins. And he decided he wanted the Looney and the Pogoer. Looney is like the best one, just because chainsaw. Not everybody likes to take all 3 secret weapons. Or the Looney's the best one because chainsaw, and he's the same price as a normal goblin. Is basically why he's good. Not everybody likes to take all the secret weapons initially because they get sent off, and then you're down players, blah, blah, blah. So there's like a million ways you can build goblins.
It's not uncommon to see them intentionally have a low team value so that they can get a lot of inducements and pick up a bunch of bribes, of course, because of their passive 50% reduction in bribe cost. So
the only secret weapon that I'd say is necessary is the Loony, and then you can fill in the rest with regular goblins if you want. Or you can replace them with secret weapon players, or the Pogoer. Secret goblins. But he's picked up the Pogoer. You get leap and very long legs. Can't be thrown, unfortunately. But the
Pogo is not a secret weapon.
Nope, it's not. But it's one more movement. It's leap and very long legs. So it's a bit. Some people use it for the ball carrier. It's a bit easier
until it dies horribly.
Yeah, it's a bit easier to move around with. Because it still does have dodge and stunty, but it cannot be thrown anymore, which is the downside.
It has dodge and stunty still, so it can dodge through things pretty easily.
And +1 movement.
There was a goblin actually on the superstar team that was stunty plus strength and horns, I think, and they used it for cage diving.
That's really funny. It also looks really funny. That's true.
Yeah.
Cool. So those are the teams for 9E. We can look at the schedule. Bye week. The Irish monks are a bye team, right? No, they're not.
No, they are the Elven Union versus the Snot. I assume that's the Orc team. Yeah,
just not Knuckers. Yeah.
Orcs versus Skaven. That's a pretty
Elven
interesting
Union,
matchup.
Right?
Right. Elven Union versus Orc.
Fresh Elven Union where they're not down any players, and fresh Orc where they don't have any tackle or like killy skills yet. I mean, they won't. The Orcs are never going to die because the Elven Union can't do anything to them. But the Orcs are probably going to have a hard time chasing down the Elven Union players. I think I'd give it to the Elven Union, but the Orcs might pick up a bit of SPP and they probably won't get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, unless things go horribly wrong, I would say the Elven Union is likely to win. Whether or not their players will survive to enjoy the victory is another matter. But
that's true.
I would say the Elven Union are favored in that matchup. There's just not enough Orc blitzers to cover them all, you know?
Yeah.
And then you have Giant Stags versus the Chew Toys. So that's CR Boys Wood Elves versus
the Necromantic team.
Wood Elves are really tough early on. They're probably one of the best 1000 TV teams.
Yeah.
And this is a fresh team with both War Dancers and the Catcher. It's going to be pretty tough for him. The Whites are decent at hunting down some of the sneakier pieces, and the Werewolves can get some surfing on, but it's a pretty tough matchup. Again, the Wood Elves are probably the favored ones there.
The good news is the Werewolves have the movement to keep up with the Elves, and the Elves, the downside is they don't have block yet, right? So that'll be pretty easy for the Werewolves to get isolated away from the rest of their team. But the Werewolves will be able to keep up with the Elves if they try to run away. So they can at least try to force... Yes, hello, cat. They can at least try to force them to score by chasing around the ball carriers. And, then they'd have a lot of... If they do the sort of 2-1 grind style, they could do that by using the Werewolves correctly.
Exactly, yeah. Is Melon harassing you horribly?
Yeah, she's rubbing the microphone and sitting on my chest. Commando Killers and Archangels Will is the Wood Elves, the other Wood Elves. This is the one with the strip ball War Dancer. Yeah. And
the one with a bit of development, yeah.
I backed out of the division. My mistake. And what was the other one?
I think it's I also backed out of the division, but I think it's Lizards, based on the name.
Yes.
We're good at this.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the strip ball. Wood Elves on that one against fresh. Lizards.
Jesus, yeah, that is a Lizard's worst nightmare.
Yep.
You have no way to hold onto the ball ever, so unless you can get the ball onto a Saurus,
and even then,
the War Dancer just
Even then, the War Dancer will do uphill blocks all day because it's a strip ball block War Dancer. Right, it's not that unreasonable to do uphill blocks just to remove the ball from you, even on a Saurus. So even if the dream really situation happens and you get it on a Saurus, it's still hard. So that I believe in you, Vulpes and Culta, but I'm gonna have to give that to Archangel. I think
that one's really gonna suck. Then we have
bye week.
So let's look at the teams. Oh no, we already looked at the teams
Yep.
that should have accepted. So that's it.
Yep, that's everything for our division review this week. We will come back ideally next Wednesday, and we will go over what matches have happened. Wednesday is generally when the leagues roll, I think, normally.
Yeah, and we want to get it in early so people don't jump on playing their matches before we can do predictions on them. So
Yep. But hopefully by then we'll have some more to talk about, maybe some more development, and some games will be played.
yeah, and we'll put this up on YouTube.
Yep.
That seems to be accepted as the
Yep.
standard. So
I'll highlight the different chunks on my channel, and I will. My YouTube is just Steakmittens as well. I will put this. I'll have to edit it and put up the different chunks there, because this stream has been one continuous thing with my TBVL game before, but it'll go places. So thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. If you want to find more from us, we're around the Discords, mostly the REBBL one, because that's where we hang out a lot. And we will be doing a college review at some point, as we mentioned, once all the college coaches have picked up their tickets.
and I will be harassing the college coaches who haven't tomorrow. So if you're not, we'll get it done.
I've been Steakmittens.
And I'm Shadorra.